We will tear your souls apart. Hello everyone, today's video will be talking about Fright Night from 1985. Originally this video was going to be my top 10 favorite Goosebumps episodes, but that video would have taken me too long to make, so I decided to make this video instead. A simple, straightforward video. The good news is you will see that video on Goosebumps eventually, but that'll be next month regardless of it being October or not. Fright Night was directed by Tom Hollands, later going to direct Child's Play. Tom Hollands is one of those underrated, underappreciated directors who need to be talked about more often, needs to be given more credit than what people realize. And no, I'm not talking about that Tom Holland who plays Spider-Man in the modern MCU movies. There's probably no relation between these two. This is a horror comedy movie I saw late in my 20s back in college. I did not grow up with this movie like some other people did. I went to this movie blind, not knowing anything about it. My first year I did like it, but I didn't love it. I was like, it was good, but not great. But on more viewings, I appreciate it a little bit better and liked it more and more viewings on my first viewing. Is it one of my favorites? Probably not, but an okay movie I enjoy rewatching for fun once in a while. One way to describe this movie feels like a modern telling a Dracula movie set in the modern 1980s. Being a fan of classic Dracula movies, this is the kind of movie that is for me and for other Dracula/vampire fanboys. Charlie Brewster, played by William Ragsdale, is an ordinary, typical, everyday, average teenager who has a girlfriend, studies a lot but fails a test. We've all been there before. Charlie's not a jock or the most popular kid in high school, as it seems. He lives with his mother. The father's whereabouts are unknown. We don't know if his father is dead or if his mom divorced his father. We see Charlie's ups and downs with his girlfriend, Amy. No, not that Charlie from 2.5 Men. Charlie was the kind of character he did not expect to fight a neighbor who was a vampire. Despite being a horror comedy, he plays it serious along with Roddy McDowell. Not that he's going to win an Academy Award. He plays it straight and tries his best, taking it seriously, giving it his all. I mean, not that his acting is great, but it's not too bad either. No one believes Charlie that his neighbor's a vampire. He's scared and worried that what if his neighbor will turn him into a vampire. I don't blame him. I feel the same way if my neighbor was a vampire too. Before Jerry threatens Charlie, he turns on the TV, is watching a Hammer Dracula movie. Scars of Dracula, a hit or miss Hammer Dracula movie. Probably one of the early Dracula fanboys in a horror movie at the time, which makes it easy to connect with his character. He likes horror movies like I do. Throughout the movie, we root for Charlie to take down Peter Dandridge, the vampire, to stop him from turning more people into vampires. Charlie's girlfriend Amy, played by Amanda Beers, they both act like a married couple and they are not married yet and are already having premarital sex, or at least they are trying to. Despite wanting sex, they keep pulling it off. They're both scared. Like Nina, Amy feels hypnotized and has a hard time resisting the way Peter Dandridge looks at her, wanting to be seduced by Jerry Dandridge. He's got Kavorka. But in seriousness, I will address the elephant in the room. The weird, creepy part about Dandridge's seduction towards Amy, she is a teenager, and Jerry Dandridge, Lord knows how old he is. Jailbait! When Amy and Jerry dance at the nightclub, it feels like Saturday Night Fever, but with a vampire and little erotica twist. When Amy gets possessed by Jerry, locks Charlie in a room with her, we don't know if this will be the end for Amy, if Charlie will kill her, or there's still hope for Charlie to kill Jerry to end the curse and to save Amy. Ed, nicknamed Evil, played by Stephen Jeffries, hates being called evil. He's very cartoony, goofy, and over the top. I'm not sure why. They never explain why he hates being called evil. They hint that he might have some kind of pain inside that's not explained. He has a complicated friendship with Charlie. He's a jerk, an annoying character, but that's the idea again. It also makes you question, why would Charlie be friends with this guy who makes fun and plays pranks on Charlie, laughs at Charlie when food is thrown at his face, and he also laughs and makes fun of him with his complicated relationship with girlfriend Amy. Ed tells Charlie how to survive a vampire for someone who does not believe in vampires. And I hate to be the one saying this, Charlie was stupid enough to fall for his prank pretending to be bitten by a vampire in the alleyway. I'll give you a real big hickey! But of course, he gets stuck in the alleyway eventually and accepts Peter's offer to become a vampire. Despite Charlie pranking him before, for once, it was not a prank when he yelled for help. Despite being hated and called evil, he ends up becoming evil in the end. Like I said before, he did not believe in vampires prior, but look how that turned out for him in the end. His death scene is insane, brutal showdown face-off against Peter Vincent, who he admired before Evil was turned into a vampire. Peter Vincent stabs Evil. Not only was he a vampire, but he was also a little bit of a werewolf inside of him, but he dies as a werewolf. I guess that makes him a wolf vampire. Well, at least he's not getting killed by one of his idols. Jerry Dandridge, played by Chris Sarandon, moves into the neighborhood. No one else but Charlie suspects him that he's a vampire. He has a photo of Amy, Charlie's girlfriend. There is a reason behind this. This was an old girlfriend he knew a long time ago, so Amy's the reincarnation of his old girlfriend, kind of like the Mummy or Candyman. The mother made a big mistake inviting him into the house, but little does she know he is a vampire. Thank goodness he did not date Charlie's mother. That would have been hard, a more complicated situation right there when you think about it. Despite threatening Charlie, he does offer Charlie a choice. If he forgets about him and ignores him, he won't turn into a vampire or bother him ever again. Charlie refuses, stabs him with a pencil, runs away, and his mother wakes up. This is something you don't see a lot in vampire movies, or not else I could think of at the moment. Chris Sarandon, you all might recognize the voice of Jack Skellington, The Night Before Christmas, Child's Play, Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino as his boyfriend. Also, one of his most big famous important roles he is known for is playing Prince Humperdinck in The Princess Bride. He does a good job in this movie, surely yeah, a little bit of cartoony at times, but still is a decent performance, giving his all. You can tell he's having a good time in this movie. The vampire makeup effect was pretty good and a little scary. Jerry's friend slash roommate Billy Cole, he's like the Renfield of this movie. When he defends Jerry, he wraps his arm around him. Yeah, there's definitely the sense that Jerry's bisexual. His death scene was very awesome, great special effects, almost like something out of a body horror movie. Another movie with good practical effects that age well like fine wine. Modern Hollywood needs to watch old school classic movies and learn how to do amazing, awesome, special practical effects. Roddy McDowall plays Peter Vincent, named after the two legendary horror icons, Peter Cushing and Vincent Price. Being a horror fan right off the bat, I already got the reference right there. Believe it or not, this part was originally offered to Vincent Price, but he turned it down because he was not interested in the role of having been typecast in horror, despite this part was originally written for him. That could have been cool and awesome, but another will never know. He's also a parody of Van Helsing. Roddy McDowall, y'all might recognize from Planet of the Apes as Cornelius. He plays an actor starring a lot of horror movies, who now hosts a TV show showing classic horror movies, kind of like Grandpa Munster Presents. Charlie goes to him asking him for help, telling his neighbor is a vampire, but of course, he doesn't believe Charlie, obviously, thinking that he is crazy. He plays a character that's an old school horror actor with a new generation of horror from the 1980s of that time period. Peter tells Charlie that he was fired due to poor ratings, that younger audiences are not gravitating towards old school horror movies. It's funny when he describes modern horror fans, all they want are demented madmen in ski masks hacking up young virgins, a reference to Jason Voorhees and other slasher movies for the time. When I was rewatching this movie for this video, seeing this part made me think to myself, if this came out today, he'd be heckling making fun of modern horror fans of the 21st century on elevated horror and torture porn. And yes, I know this was remade a decade ago, but I'll be mentioning that in a little bit. Here's a funny thing. How the heck did Charlie get into the studio? But again, don't overthink it. Just take it as it is and move on. After getting fired from the TV show, he's getting evicted from his apartment. Another Easter egg right here. In Peter Vincent's apartment, he has Universal Monster movie posters and a picture of Bela Lugosi's Dracula. When not believing Charlie, Amy had talked some sense into him, but it only helped from getting evicted from his apartment, being offered $500 from Amy's savings bonds. After the failed holy water test, Vincent finally believes Charlie when he sees no reflection in the mirror on Jerry. Peter feels paralyzed with fear and goes to his apartment afraid and scared. Evil Eye comes to his apartment trying to kill him. Peter uses a cross for self-defense and it works. It shows how this character goes from starring in horror movies to becoming a real vampire hunter. Despite being paid originally, Peter Vincent decides to help Charlie and save the day. Weird seeing how the cross worked on Evil Eye and yet it didn't work on Jerry because he had no faith. It worked for Charlie until Billy flipped him over. After killing and destroying Jerry Dandridge and helping Charlie save Amy, this helps boost Peter Vincent's ratings, makes him more popular and a comeback for his acting career. There was a sequel to Fright Night called Fright Night 2. I saw it on YouTube this past year. It was alright, nothing special. It was basically the same movie all over again, but this time, Charlie's in college, Amy was not in the movie, but they don't explain if they broke up or not. From what I also read and heard, that this movie's physical media DVD had some kind of legal rights issue issue. This is a rare movie to find for years. Could only find this movie on bootlegs at conventions, but recently fixed and figured out all the legal rights issues, and it will officially be released on Blu-ray next year. There were plans for a third Fright Night movie, but it was canceled because of the second movie's poor performance. Believe it or not, another reason a third Fright Night movie did not happen was canceled was because Roddy McDowall and Tom Holland originally had a meeting scheduled with Jose Menendez. Yes, the Jose Menendez who was killed by his two sons, Kyle and Lyle Menendez. They were going to originally discuss a third idea movie with him because he was going to help finance Fright Night 3, but he died getting shot by his sons, Kyle and Lyle, so the movie was scrapped and canceled. There were rumors about a third follow-up to this movie, but Lord knows if it really happened or not. Once again, I'm not holding my breath on this one. In 2011, there was a remake and a sequel to the remake. Never saw any of these, so no comment. From what I've heard from fans, the remake seems to get a mixed reception because they changed the tone, making it more serious and comical, like the original. Isn't that what a remake is supposed to do? Change things up, make it its own, rather than copying what was done already? The sequel remake, from what I've heard from fans, it doesn't seem like it was not good at all, but again, no comment on any of these movies, because I've not seen any of these movies. All in all, it's a fun 80s horror vampire comedy, worth a watch, and a good movie to pop in occasionally to shut your brain off. A good movie that pays tribute to vampire mythology, Dracula, Universal, and Hammer. It also pays a little tribute to Homa as a Stephen King Salem's Lot. Another movie that has balance of horror and comedy. Another horror movie on the rules of surviving fighting a vampire. At some point in time, I would not mind owning this movie on Blu-ray in the future. Maybe watch this movie with friends or watch for an 80s horror comedy marathon movie night for fun. That was my video on Fright Night. See y'all next time.